I'd like to call the City Council meeting of April 13th, 2026 to order at 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dash.
Here.
Alderman Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Dolick.
Here.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge. We have 2 minutes to approve, the minutes of March 23rd, 2026, and the executive session minutes of March 23rd, 2026. Like an omnibus motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 4, presentations. We have a presentation from the Chicago Executive Board budget presentation by Jason Griffith.
Thank you for having us. In governmental accounting, what is Chicago Executive Airport? Chicago Executive Airport is an enterprise fund. An enterprise fund is a fund used to account for operations that are financed and operated in a manner similar to private business enterprises, where the intent of the governing body is that the costs of providing goods or services to the public on a continuing basis be financed or recovered primarily through user charges. If you use the airport, you help fund the airport. What is the Chicago Executive Airport budget? The Chicago Executive Airport budget is an annual estimate of the fiscal year's revenues, operating expenses, debt service expenses, reserve fund transfers, and capital expenses. The airport covers a May to April fiscal year. It is developed with keeping the future operating and significant capital needs of the airport in mind, and it is also helped to develop to ensure the airport always remains self-sufficient. The budget focuses on today while preparing the airport for the future. FY27 budget goals. Provide the resources to be a premier general aviation airport. Maintain financial self-sufficiency. Maintain appropriate revenue growth across the airport's revenue streams. Manage operating expenses to ensure operational effectiveness. Continue to utilize reserve funds to minimize the impact on the operating fund. Plan and design a new airport aviation community center. Debt income after reserve fund transfers in FY27 is about $428,000. The FY27 budgeted revenues total just under $9.8 million. The airport used a 3.0% CPI increase for most of its fee increases. The revenue stream growth is driven by sewer fees, fuel flowage fees, long-term lease fees, rentals, U.S. Customs Service fees, and other fee increases. Total budget operating expenses for the combined admin and operating departments is about $6.6 million, an increase of $753,000 or 12% from last year's budget. Significant drivers of this expense increase are for the 100-year celebration. The airport's offering aircraft rides for purchase the weekend of the Rock and Run event, and the airport is also hosting the AAAE General Aviation Conference in August. Software expense increases, insurance increases, utility increases, aircraft movement expenses for hangars 5 and 6. Early in this current fiscal year, the FBO that was providing the movement services for hangars in 5 and 6 decided to give it up. In order to keep that hangar and those tenants in the building, we had to come to an agreement with a third-party vendor who moves the aircraft in and out of that hangar. Airport staff does not touch aircraft. And then other personnel expenses. The airport business plan requires the airport maintains an unrestricted net assets balance equal to 3 months of the current year's budgeted operating expenses. For this year, it would be about $1.6 million. The $6.6 million in operating budget times 25%. The estimated running balance on April 30th, 2027 of just over $5 million is sufficient to cover that requirement. The airport's debt covenant requires the airport to maintain a cash balance worth 180 days of budgeted operating expense. That amount would be about 3.2 million in FY '27. It's a 6.6 million in budget operating expenses times 180 days divided by 365. Again, the estimated amount of just over 5 million in the operating fund is sufficient to cover this requirement. The sewer reserve fund begins with a balance of about 730,000 with an estimated balance of 769,000. There are some expense in this budget for stormwater. The vehicle and equipment reserve fund has a projected starting balance of 1.3 million and an estimated ending balance of 180,000. There are scheduled for 2 large purchases. One's an airport broom at 770,000, and the other's for the purchase of a large plow that has a tank on the back for the FAA certified liquid de-icing chemical E36 that the airport uses at 725,000. The lead time on those vehicles, especially the brooms, could be about 365 days. So the purchase may not end up taking place in this fiscal year, but we want to be transparent about the purchase of that vehicle and put it before your eyes. Along with the purchase of a new pickup truck, a airport operations vehicle, and a forklift. The land and building fund has a projected starting balance of 3.4 million with an estimated ending balance of 5.2 million. Expenses for this fund are for reimbursement of the demolition of the property that was on the site that the airport purchased and closed on this past fiscal year. The capital repair and demo fund has a projected starting balance of 878,000 and an estimated ending balance of 363,000. The budget expenses for this fund are also for the demolition of the purchase the airport closed on earlier this year for the building that was there. Self-funded capital projects, facilities of 115,000. Fencing, gates, and landscaping of 15,000, security improvements of 75,000. That's a slight decrease from the past budgets. The airport has enhanced and increased its security throughout the airport, but it's getting towards where we're starting to level off the funding to lower levels. Pavement repairs of 300,000, office equipment of 90,000, 60,000 of that is for an estimate of potential IT upgrades. Vehicle equipment and repairs of 36,000. This isn't for the purchase of new equipment. The airport snow equipment is very expensive to maintain, and when they do need maintenance, sometimes it involves cranes to move the engine out and to be able to get to the components that need to be worked on. So they are quite costly. Shop equipment of 51,500. 41,000 of that is to replace a Tyco fire alarm panel that's currently in our shop. It's outdated, and that comes at Tyco's recommendation. Other capital outlay of 180,000. 150,000 of that is for the decommissioning of runway 624, and then 30,000 in runway identifier lights. And then 2.25 million in capital design and construction for the aviation community center. Our traditional capital A grant projects, the hotspot reconfiguration of taxiway phase 1 has started in this fiscal year. The local share was paid in this fiscal year. It sounds like with IDA, the next project that will be awarded is the hotspot reconfiguration of taxiway phase 2. That comes with a local share of 310,000. And the projects that are given to IDA and FAA come directly from the airport's transportation improvement program that was last passed by our board of directors by resolution 25-44 that covers fiscal years 2027 through 2031. The residential sound insulation program stays its own separate section of the budget. In totality, the RCIP program has 4.1 million in expenses and just under 3.9 million in budgeted RCIP reimbursements. That concludes the presentation, and we open it up to the floor for questions and comments.
Any questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next presentation is the City of Prospect Water Quality and Compliance with National Pollution Discharge Elimination System Report by Dave Colder.
Good evening, everyone. I'm pinch hitting for Dave Cole today. The presentation that I'm going to give is required by the IEPA's MS4 permit. That's one of the 6 minimum control measures, in this case, public education and outreach. I'll use a lot of acronyms tonight, so if something I say, if you don't know what that is, feel free to stop me at any time. MS4 stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. That's just the city, and this is part of the NPDES program, the National Pollutant Discharge Detection and Elimination System. Brief overview, this program was developed in the early 1970s as part of the Clean Water Act, which recognized that stormwater runoff in and of itself can be an instrument that conveys pollution. And so the Act and the program that came out of it, the NPDES program, charges local agencies with monitoring and detecting and eliminating pollutants to the extent that they can. Some of the common pollutants in stormwater runoff include debris, leaves, sticks, branches, etc., chemicals from different spills and things like that, and then just the nature of runoff. As runoff increases, subject to more erosion, and sediment can be transported downstream, and that sediment is itself a pollutant as well. One of the items that we do as part of our NPDES program, we do water quality monitoring. So there's 3 locations where we do that. That's where Camp McDonald enters the city at Schoenbeck Road, where it exits the city at Wheeling Road, and then where Camp McDonald tributary enters the city at Camp McDonald Road. So if I said Camp McDonald, I meant McDonald Creek in each of those cases. Forgive me for that. But a visual water quality assessment is done at each of those 3 locations. They look for abnormal vegetation, algae growth, odor, color, turbidity, floatables. So that testing was done in this past November for this plan year. No significant items were noted in the field. As I mentioned, the program came out of the Clean Water Act in the 1970s. And the IEPA administers this program on behalf of the federal government. The federal government delegated responsibility for it to the state government, so the IEPA is the agency that oversees it in the state of Illinois. The IEPA issues the ILR 40 permit, and it's good for a certain term. That term actually expired from the previous permit in 2024. So the last few years, the IEPA has been working on updating the permit, updating some of the requirements. They finally completed that process this past July of 2025. So the new permit has an effective date of August 1st, 2025, and extends through 2030. Some of the items are listed there on the slide in terms of what got updated. Mainly very small updates to requirements that were already part of the program, just some tweaks here and there. GHA, Gaywald Hamilton, participates in several watershed work groups on behalf of the city. The city is kind of located between 2 watershed work groups. We're located just south of the Des Plaines River Watershed Work Group and just north of the Lower Des Plaines River Watershed Work Group. But because we are attending those work groups on behalf of other clients, we get some of the benefits of knowing what's planned upstream and downstream of you guys. So that's another way another activity that we do through the program. So that kind of concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5, appointments, confirmations, and proclamations. I would like to appoint Peter Falcone as our budget officer. And I would need a motion to do that.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You are appointed, Peter. Item 6, public comment on agenda matters. Does the clerk have any
Not on the agenda.
on the agenda? Item 7, consent agenda.
Tonight on the consent agenda, we have item A, the Arbor Day proclamation. Arbor Day will be held on Friday, April 24th. Item B, we'll have O2603. This is staff memo and ordinance establishing water rates for FY 26-27. This is the second reading. And we'll also have item C, R2609, memo and resolution approving the FY 26-27 budget for the Chicago Executive Airport.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve?
So moved, Anderson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It's a consent agenda, but I still ask, any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 8, old business.
For old business tonight, we have item A. This is just continued at the request of the applicant to the April 27, 2026 City Council regular meeting, and this was for item O2604, staff memo and ordinance reestablishing a special use and plan unit development for Nieder Capital Services LLC at 1001 and 999 Oak Avenue. This would have been a second reading. It will be on the April 27th agenda.
Okay. April 27th, you said?
Yes, currently.
Okay. Item 9, new business.
We have item A. This is O2605, staff memo and ordinance amending Title I of City Code and adopting the pay plan, compensation of officers, employee salaries, and annual pay plan. This is just a first reading.
So as a first reading, this will come back up at our April 27th meeting. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Peter and staff. Item B.
Item B, we have O2606. This is staff memo and ordinance adopting the FY 26-27 budget for the city of Prospect Heights. This is also a first reading.
Again, it's a first reading, and it'll be up on our agenda on April 27th. Any comments or questions, or did you have anything? No? If anybody does have any questions, again, please reach out to Peter. Item C.
Item C is O2607, staff memo and ordinance amending Title 8, Chapter 5 of the Prospect Heights City Code relating to the sewer service rates for FY 26-27. This is a first reading.
It's a first reading. It'll come back up again on the April 27th agenda. If you have any questions, please contact staff. Item D.
Item D will be a waiver of first reading for O2608. It's a staff memo and ordinance approving a variance for an accessory structure at 1120 North Drury. This is the first reading. It's a waiver.
So since this is a waiver, we'll need a motion to approve.
So move.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dan, you want to give us just a quick thumbnail sketch?
Thank you very much. This is the Bertolini residence at 1120 in North Drury Lane. A number of years ago, they came before the city and consolidated 1120 and 1128 into a full over 40,000 square foot lot. The Bertolinis plan to put in a swimming pool this summer, and as part of it, to support the swimming pool, they'd like to put in a pool house / storage building. The size of that is 531 square feet approximately, which is over 300 square feet larger than the maximum size of an accessory structure throughout our code. However, a 1 acre lot in the city of Prospect Heights could have up to 1,400 square feet by the time you add the detached garage, the initial shed, a small storage shed, and then because they have an extra 20,000 square feet, they could have up to 400 square feet and 2 additional sheds. So the request of the waiver is to have one accessory structure in excess of 200 square feet, which is well under their maximum allowed. And with the ZBA put a condition that no additional structures, accessory structures be allowed. And the second condition was that any lighting to support the pool area had to shine towards the house and the pool, not towards the neighboring property to the west or the north. This is, their property is beautiful. They have a lot of other storm management, would make it impractical to put any accessory structures, so staff supports the recommendation from the ZBA. And Mr. Bertolini is here if you have any questions.
Any questions?
No, thank you for their explanation.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call for approval of the waiver of first reading.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E.
Item E will be the action on that item. It'll be O2608, staff memo and ordinance approving a variance for an accessory structure at 1120 North Drury, and this is the second reading.
This is the second reading of the ordinance, so we need a motion to approve.
So moved, Anderson.
We have a motion. Is there a
Second.
second? We have a motion and second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item F.
Item F is also a waiver of first reading for O2609. This is a staff memo and ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 12 of the Prospect Heights City Code relating to the city's compensatory storage ratio requirements for stormwater management on new developments. This is the first reading.
Since this is the waiver of a first reading, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second, Anderson.
We have a motion and a second. Dan, you want to take this one again? Or Peter, whoever?
If you want to go ahead, Dan, you can.
Thank you very much, Mayor, City Council. The city has a ordinance that requires all work in an area where there could be potential flooding issues to have 1.5 to 1.1 compensatory storage area for stormwater control and management. The city is embarked in looking at the area east of Wolf Road, north of Old Willow Road along the Milwaukee Avenue corridor. Analysis shows that in those areas that if we were to follow the MWD ordinance of 1.1 to 1.1 match MWD, there would be no significant impacts in the area. However, this ordinance, we have a potential application coming forward, and that would have required a variation. However, our city ordinance does not allow for a variation related to comp storage. So the code section tonight allows for an applicant to have an opportunity to seek a variation of that comp storage and then have that reviewed through our site plan development process with final approval by city council. So just because we're going to recognize the 1.1, they still have to prove it up at the ZBA and ask for a variation.
Any questions? So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item G.
Item G is O2609, staff memo and ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 12 of the Prospect Heights City Code relating to the city's compensatory storage ratio requirements for stormwater management on new developments, and this is the second reading.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved, Anderson.
Second.
We have a
Morgan
motion
Adams.
and a second. Any questions?
No.
No questions. All right. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item H.
Item H is R2610, staff memo and resolution of city council support for the city's Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, ITEP, grant application for the Camp McDonald Sidewalk Project with local funding of at least $176,700.
The motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Peter?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the council may be aware, we are trying our best to put sidewalks in the Prospect Heights, and really the only way we can do it is through grants. We were fortunate enough through Scott Britton's office to receive 2 Cook County Invest in Cook grants. The first grant was for preliminary engineering phase 1, and then we got a second grant for design engineering phase 2. The next step in the process for any sidewalk is phase 3 engineering and construction. to meet that heavy lift, we actually applied for and were awarded an Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program grant of just under $1.6 million. This ITEP grant requires a local match of 10%. So the actual cost to the city for the entire project for the completion of the Camp McDonald sidewalk is only $176,700. So this resolution is a requirement of the ITEP grant application process, showing the city's support for the funding of the 10% of the construction costs. So that's what this is asking for right now, approval.
So, favorite question. So the Camp McDonald sidewalk goes from Wolf Road to Wheeling?
Correct. So there are certain requirements or parameters that that projects have to meet in order to qualify for these grants. Because we did the Wolf Road sidewalk that connects to the metro station, we were able to kind of dovetail with that. So the Camp McDonald sidewalk, I understand it doesn't go all the way to Elmhurst Road like we will at some point, but we can only take what we can get. And what's offered was for Willow Road to Wolf Road is this segment. And then we can always follow up with the Willow Road to Elmhurst Road to kind of get to our little downtown area by Deli for You. But for ITEP, it only really qualified for this section.
Thank you.
The cutoff road is Wheeling Road, sorry.
Yeah.
Wheeling, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wheeling to Wolf.
We knew what you meant. Any other questions?
No.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 10, staff, elected officials, and commission reports. Staff on my left. Lloyd?
No report.
Nothing? Peter? Dan?
Not today.
Mark? Bob? Chief?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. With the weather warming up, I'd like to draw some attention to newly passed ordinances as of last year related to low-speed electric bikes, scooters, and gas-powered bicycles. We will do a social media campaign alerting the residents once again. Just as a reminder, e-bicycles are only allowed on city streets. They must have lamps, reflectors, and brakes, must obey rules of the road, and have labels containing classification, top assisted speed, and motor wattage. If they are class 3s, meaning the motor is powerful, the riders must be 16 years of age or older. Regarding e-scooters, they are allowed on city streets and sidewalks. They're defined as devices weighing no more than 100 pounds and their maximum speed being no more than 10 miles an hour. Those riders must be 18 years of age or older. And lastly, gas-powered bicycles, they're only allowed on city streets, must have lamps, reflectors, and brakes, and labels containing their classifications, top assisted speed, and motor power, and their riders must be 16 years of age or older. Given the passing of these ordinances last year, we did receive some calls from the community. Unfortunately, we were unable to deter from state law, given that we're a non-home rule community, so we have to strictly follow state law when writing these ordinances. Educational materials are available on the city webpage and at the police department if anybody needs them. As I said, we will do another social media campaign. Lastly, events that the police department is participating. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our city clerk, Joanna, who approached me a while back and asked how can an organization that she's a part of assist the police department, and they put together a pancake breakfast this Sunday through the Moose Chapter 1481, and all the proceeds will go to the Prospect Heights Police Department, and we plan on purchasing ballistic vests with those proceeds. So thank you, Joanna, very much.
Very welcome.
And we will have a couple police officers present this Sunday from 9 to 12 in Mount Prospect.
Yeah, the donation is $7 for the pancakes.
Furthermore, April 23rd, this is the second year in a row in an effort to educate our police officers and prepare them better for their careers and retirement. I'm bringing back another investment and tax strategy seminar for our police officers, how to better manage their money, their finances, and be better on the financial side of their lives. May 15th tentatively is our Illinois Special Olympics Cop on the Rooftop. This is where we partner up with Dunkin' Donuts and we get on the rooftop of the Dunkin' Donuts, raise awareness and funds for the Illinois Special Olympics. And then lastly, May 19th is a scheduled date at 5:30, which is our annual Coffee with the PHPD at the Rob Roy. We partner with Rob Roy, where we invite the community to come and meet the police department, ask questions, get to know about us. And we plan on doing another one in the fall, September, on the east side at the River Trails Park facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Elected on my right, Danielle. Anybody else on that side? No reports?
No.
No? I do have something. Because I like this kind of stuff and I'm a little weird about it, but I spent the whole weekend reading about House Bill 5626. And in case you don't know what that is, it's a bill in front of the General Assembly right now that would basically eliminate single-family zoning in Prospect Heights. What it will do is allow people to build what they call accessory dwelling units on their property. And based on the size of your lot, dictates how many additional units you can have on your property. And the level that we would fall in is 7,500 square feet. So if your lot's 7,500 square feet or larger, you would be able to build 8 units on your property for 8 different residents. It is something that when I was reading it, I thought it was being punked. I thought it was like something that this can't be for real. I was hoping to get to the end of it and it'd be like, oh, late April Fools, but it's not. So I suggest anybody who's listening that lives in single family that they pay attention to this, because it's very easy to just kind of like gloss over it. This couldn't happen. It will happen if the governor is behind it 110%, and it will change us forever. And Dan, I don't know if you've read it, but they're talking about going to 10-foot setbacks all around a lot. Just so many different things. It's unbelievable. It's written for Chicago, but they're trying to pass it for the entire state of Illinois.
There's no regard for water systems. There's no regard for sanitary sewer systems. Access, you wouldn't have to have green space on your lot. You could take down every single one of your trees if you wanted to make this work. There would be no controls from the city zoning department per se. If your lot met the criteria, pretty much we're forced into this from how I read it.
There's also no parking restrictions,
Correct.
so we couldn't even enforce our own parking restrictions.
Parking on what grass there is there, and
Yeah, it is something to read. It's very scary.
Hopefully it won't pass.
Well, it won't pass if people get involved. And if nobody gets involved, you could have an 8-unit complex coming to the lot next door to you.
On both sides.
On both sides. So,
I believe the real estate industry has something going on in Springfield. My managing broker was on his way down there this afternoon.
they're in favor of it.
No, he's
The
not.
realtor does.
No. So I'll call him as soon as this meeting's over. I called him early. No, we're not. in favor
Flex your
of that.
muscles.
Yeah,
And we have
it's ugly.
to help us
Yeah.
too.
What staff's putting together is a one-pager front and back. We've heard from our General Assembly elected officials. They want to hear from their constituents. They want to hear from the municipalities they represent to see how this is going to affect them. So we're putting it together. Staff will make the one-pager available to all the elected officials. We will put it on every single media outlet we have, and we will get it in front of the eyes of our General Assembly members just to let them know how devastating this would be to Prospect Heights. It's going to hurt everybody, even the home rule municipalities, but for our large lot sizes, People talk about McMansions that go up when you knock down a smaller home. You're talking about knocking down a smaller home and putting up a 8-unit multifamily house in single-family residential. It just literally, it supersedes all local zoning authority. And as the mayor said, it's designed primarily for large urban municipalities like Chicago, like Rockford. It is not meant for communities like Prospect Heights.
And the Northwest Municipal Conference hopefully will be against it as well.
Everyone's against it.
Yeah.
IML, Northwest, everybody
Yes.
is. It's just,
Absolutely.
So I've been down there several times in Springfield for the Realtor, big program, and we go, from congressmen to keep knocking on doors to talk to everyone at what we want them to listen to. And I gotta tell you, when they get this many things to vote on, they don't even know what we're talking about. They don't even read them, And so it's important to contact everyone. I know that my managing broker was meeting with Walker today at 3 o'clock, so I'll call him as soon as I finish.
yeah, it is something. It's in 25 years of being involved with municipal government, I've never seen anything as crazy as this. I mean, and the problem with it too is that it's, looking at just this issue is bad enough. If you apply this to any other issue and say the state takes over all aspects of that issue, it's scary stuff. So stay involved. And when you see something about it, get involved. It's important to have this not happen. Item 11, approval of warrants.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The total of our expenditures was $355,223.85. In addition, we had wire payments on April 3rd, payroll $284,326.64, and previous to that, March 20th, payroll was $195,108.83. Then we had manual checks, White and Company, Beyond Your Base Referendum Resources, in the amount of $14,648.17. So the total warrant amounts to $849,307.49 for council's approval, please.
We need a motion to approve the wires and warrants.
So moved, Anderson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 12, public comment on non-agenda matters.
Yes, Mayor, we have a few people who wish to speak.
Sure. Go ahead.
And first name is Lisa Cohen on community meeting.
Good evening. A few weeks back, we invited each of you to a community meeting at the HANA Center, but no one showed up. We're trying to understand why there seems to be a reluctance to meet with your constituents. About 35 residents came to the meeting from all across Prospect Heights and spoke honestly about their concerns. A big issue raised was a lack of trust in both police and elected officials. This isn't new. It's been building for a long time, and it's clear that rebuilding trust needs to start now. One step would be to hold a meeting in the Piper community with a social worker employed by Prospect Heights. People in the Piper community, they pay taxes and they vote. They deserve to be heard, and it starts with you showing up. We're going to keep showing up, staying involved, and supporting the community on our end. That includes helping register voters and working towards leadership that listens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew DeLuz, Alex, please.
Thank you. It's Andrew De Los Salas.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andrew De Los Salas, and I serve as the Suburban Youth Program Coordinator at the HANA Center. We're an immigrant justice service provider and immigrant justice organization based in Prospect Heights. I want to make it very clear that I respect all of you for stepping up as public servants. Mayor Ludvigsen, City Administrator Falcone, and Chief Durman, Alderwoman Cameron, Alderwoman Anderson, who's unable to be here tonight, Alderwoman Morgan Adams, Alderwoman Dash, Alderman Dolick. I appreciate the sacrifices you make to ensure the essential functions of government. As public servants in Illinois, I know that you took the oath of office, pledging to defend the Illinois Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. I also know that every time we start these meetings, you pledge allegiance to that flag right there. In every single meeting, you swear to carry out those duties to the best of your abilities. That's what you raised your right hand to do, and that's what you're supposed to do right now. And we're at a time in this city's history where we need you to do your best. To start with, you can do that by listening to your constituents with an open mind and an open heart. Since last November, dozens of people have told you about the distinct lack of trust between the police, the government, and the community. The multiracial coalition of speakers that has come to these meetings has reflected the diversity of the city, one that is 30% Latino and 10% Asian. This need to build trust has come from faith leaders, business owners, students, mothers, fathers, and this message comes from the east side and the west side of Prospect Heights, from every ward in the city that all of you represent. That's why we were so disappointed to see that not a single person showed up to that community meeting last Thursday. Yes, you've heard about what happened on December 22nd when a U.S. citizen was dragged from her car by 4 masked men and put in the hospital. You've heard about it at these meetings nearly every 2 weeks since January. But if you had come to the meeting last Thursday, as you were invited to 3 times, you would have heard from over 30 community members and leaders about how the lack of trust didn't start in December. This is a systemic issue. If you had come, you would have heard firsthand about the surveillance and the profiling that has burned bridges. If you had come, you would have heard about why folks don't feel comfortable to leave their houses to warm up their cars. And if you had come, you would have heard why people don't feel comfortable to call 911 when they see masked agents in their neighborhood. By not coming, you deepened that distrust. But we're presenting you with an opportunity. That opportunity is to rebuild that trust. Last Thursday, the community, centering Piper Lane Voices, called for a meeting to be held by the Prospect Heights Police Department social worker at a safe location, like a school or in Piper Lane, like Lisa mentioned. By meeting residents on their own terms, you show that you are willing to listen. You show that you are invested in building trust with your neighbors, your taxpayers, and your voters. Let's remember that all those documents that you swear allegiance to start with the same 3 words: we the people. Right now, this is what democracy looks like. I hope you'll join us.
Thank you.
Karina Maria, please.
Hello, good evening. My name is Karina Marin. And in the same way that I heard you asking us to listen about this House bill that I've just learned about tonight, I hope that you will listen to your residents and community members when we are speaking to all of you. So I have worked with HANA Center at the Milwaukee Plaza for the last 2.5 years. I have been privileged to be able to help multiple residents and now citizens of Prospect Heights gain citizenship, renew their green cards, apply for passports, register to vote. And the last time that I was here, I told you all about this. I told you, and I think that was in November, I told you also about the deep fear and anxiety that I was hearing from my clients who were coming into the office in the midst of Midway Blitz. I also shared that fear, that anxiety, that mistrust that I was hearing was overwhelming. And I, along with many other residents, showed up to this board asking you to support the Prospect Heights community. In the months that have followed, it has been disappointing to say the least, as these concerns have been repeatedly dismissed, and I have seen many community members' trust in this board and in their police department be broken. In a recent community meeting that you were all invited to but not present, I heard the same fears, the same anxiety that was going on in November, But as others had mentioned, I also heard that that mistrust was more deeply placed, that it was a systemic issue that went beyond Operation Midway Blitz. So today I stand here urging this board to engage in conversation with community members so that we can begin to mend some of this broken trust and all work together towards a safer community where everybody is heard. Please come together with the community. We're asking for the Prospect Heights social worker, Rosangela Maldonado, to meet with Prospect Heights residents in a place of the Prospect Heights residents choosing to be able to engage in this conversation and do this work together. Thank you.
We also have Tom Devitt, please. You can approach.
Excuse me. Good evening, Prospect Heights. These flock cameras have got to go. I know some of you believe the myths that surveillance keeps us safe, that policing, prisons, and violent immigration enforcement keep us safe. And to be honest, I don't blame you for believing the myth. This is not an individual failing on your part. This is a collective failing. It's what we've been told our entire lives. But let's start challenging these collective beliefs. And a brief detour here, since I'm trying to myth bust here, let's just talk another collective myth. Mr. Mayor brought up the topic, let's talk about it. There continues to be a false choice between the crooked liars of blue team, overrepresented in Springfield, and the lying crooks of red team. If we want Springfield to do things differently, let's start doing things differently right here in Prospect Heights. Back on topic, can you point to one crime that was prevented by these overpriced taxpayer-funded cameras? Of course not. They don't prevent crime. At best, it will tell you who was in the area. And maybe you catch someone after the fact. Maybe you think mass surveillance is a deterrent. How many billions of dollars need to be wasted on the panopticon and the prison industrial complex before we admit that it doesn't deter crime? If you combine the budgets of state, county, and local policing, it would be the third largest military in the world, behind only China and the U.S. Department of Defense. And all that money doesn't deter crime. Desperate people whose needs are unmet turn to crime. This country has a prison population of 2.5 million people, largest in the history of the world by far, and it doesn't deter crime. It takes money away from the people. We have declining life expectancies, declining literacy rates, and dramatically increasing rates of deaths of despair. Yet you continue to fund the surveillance state. Now I understand the broad strokes are almost entirely beyond the scope of this city, but it's time to decide if you want to keep clinging to the crumbling status quo or start to make a change. These cameras are a national epidemic. Over 88,500 of these cameras have been mapped by dflock.org. But people are starting to change. 53 municipalities have rejected Flock and stopped their contracts. This includes Oak Park and Evanston, Illinois. Look at the world around us. If you aren't willing to question your worldview now, what will it take? And if you aren't ready to think and act differently, maybe it's time to step aside. The old adage is lead, follow, or get out of the way. Get rid of the flock cameras, spend that money on the community, and abolish ICE. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. We will not. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, anybody else. We are open to anybody else who wants to talk that didn't write anything down can come on up. Come on up.
Promote your face.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to say that, well, my name is Mary Solberg, and I live in Prospect Heights. And I just wanted to say that I'm here to support the speakers thus far about communication in the community. I wanted to say thank you. I really appreciate the policy statement that's on the website about ICE. I believe it's been there since about February, and it sounds great. And I just also like to ask you to please meet with the community members who have asked you to meet. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Inviting me, having not been on the list, Jeff Orland. I'm a Prospect Heights resident for 11 years. And first I want to thank you all, because I'm assuming that when you all agreed to serve our community, it was like things like sidewalks and making sure we have businesses like Barcelona that's doing great. Dealing with Cook County to get Willow Road fixed over by the ponds. It's a lot of really important stuff that nobody comes up here and says thank you for, because it's just, we all drive on the roads and we go to the schools and we go to the parks, and it's a great place to live. At the same time, I do want to support the idea of having the police and social worker visit with people maybe at a school or another place that's not the police station. I did go to the meeting last Thursday night, and I met a lot of people I never would have met otherwise. And I heard stories about, people have been talking about the disconnect between the voices you're hearing since December or November and your perception of things. And that disconnect is genuine. I talked to Marcia Gendris about the summer camps that they do with the police and the kids, and I know about the outreach that City Council does and the police does. So I know that there are efforts to bridge that gap, but I also know that the stories that I heard at the meeting go back decades, go back before you were part of our police force, before you were the mayor, before you were the city administrator. It goes back to the 1990s when we started the police force because we needed it. And I spoke to people who were like, yeah, I was just standing there in the park one day and the cops came up and they put my hands behind my back and they harassed me in front of my kids. And it wasn't your force. It's 10, 20, 30 years ago. So this trust, the gap is real. The efforts that I'm hearing about are real. And the mistrust is real. And I just want to encourage everybody that when these opportunities come to meet, to all do our best to look at solutions. We have a federal government that, whatever your political opinions are, we have a federal government who has doubled the force of HSA. There's now 22,000 people who will be focused on coming here and getting our neighbors. And I'm not trying to like overstate it, but they are picking up non-citizens who are in the process. They're picking up citizens. So we are faced with that. They're gonna come here, they have the money to do it, they have the people to do it. And I recognize we're a non-home rule state, city. I recognize that our government is part of the whole microcosm of federal government, and we don't have the technical authority and jurisdiction to do anything if we get, sorry to say, beat up by a Fed cop. There's nothing we can do about it. But at the same time, I love this town, and I love this country, and I want it to be a place where we're looking out for each other and we help each other. And when forces come that are going to hurt us, that we take care of each other and do the best to be a strong community for everybody. So I appreciate your time, and I hope you'll continue to listen and continue to problem solve with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 13, executive session, we don't have a need for one, so there'll be no 14. That takes us to adjournment. Item 15, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Anderson.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.